Oh man, that's
Coming
very
in.
creative. Justin, man.
Oh god. Oh man. That hurts.
Guys, just got back from Rotor Riot Rampage. I let everyone, whoever wanted to ride this, as long as they were 18, I let them tear it up. You can see we got some good marks. We broke things. It was a blast. This thing got absolutely sent by everyone who wanted to ride it, including Ken Heron, and heck, I think Drew rode it, Vanover. I let everybody, E-Rod, everybody rode this thing, man. It was a blast. Whoever wanted to take it, I told them they could take it.
People brought all kinds of wheeled conveyances to get around, but the winner for the coolest one was brought by Dan from Drone Worship. Dan, your little motorcycle is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, we're letting everybody ride it. Whoever wants to take it for a spin, as long as you're 18, you can whip it.
Send it.
So, unfortunately, I found the culprit to the last night of why it broke. We lost the throttle cable here. You can see the stub is still in there, so we're gonna have to push that out of there. And I got a new throttle cable here, and then when we're done with that, we're gonna throw the performance rollers on it, and we're gonna put the 1500 RPM clutch springs in the CVT. So this thing should be a lot more rowdy after this, because I believe these are only 4-gram rollers. I'm sorry, 4-gram sliders. These should severely increase the speed. But I also want to make sure that it's not going to change the shift points too radically on the scooter and overwork it into a higher RPM band. But this thing should be able to go. Man, there is dust and dirt and everything caked on here. I'm going to have to give us a good cleaning. We rode the hell out of this thing. We did burnouts with it. We did all sorts of stuff. This thing was punished. So, all right, new cable's been installed, as you can see. Boom, boom. Cut out the old one. I'm not taking the tank and everything off just to route a cable. So this one was slightly longer, which is fine. I have a gap adjuster that I can put right there that'll hold that cable in place. I mean, it's tight. It's not really going anywhere, but because of the extra, it's fine. It activates very smoothly now. Barely takes any pressure. The old one was kind of worn out, so this one's working exactly how it should, perfectly. So kind of glad about that. So this will be the first crank up it's had since our drone meet. Let's see what it requires here. Like I said, it hasn't run since then, so give her a little bit of gas. There we go. Let her idle now. There we go. All right. Going through the warm-up phase. So I'll take it for a ride, make sure everything's good first. You got all the brakes reconnected, everything's back on there. I did put the tank protector on there because that was waiting for me when I got home. So now we slap the tank protector on there. I do have the cell phone holder, so now I can actually do some GPS trips with it. And yeah, looking good. Got a few more things. The light kit is on there. You guys didn't catch that. I have the light bar over on the other side, but at night the LEDs come on and I can unplug or plug in, or I can just turn it off, but if I don't want it to kill the battery, whatevs. So there we go. I'm about to do the 4-gram sliders in there and 1500 RPM clutch springs and see how it handles that. We got to get some speed out of the ride, so but there we go. That's the light kit board. So it just came down into its idle. Sounds healthy. Still sounds healthy after all that beating that we let it have. Back on the road she goes. Just need a little love, and now we're gonna make it faster. So I have 9-gram and I have 4-gram sliders. We're gonna see which one makes this thing faster, and then in my truck I gotta go grab the springs. I got some springs. So we're gonna get into some CV tuning to make this thing quicker. So yeah, man, this was a good idea to bring this out there. We had a blast with this thing. Alright, so these are the stock rollers that came on it. Let's see what they weigh. So these are 5.2 grams. Alright, we're going to be putting 4 grams in there, which will give a snappier takeoff. Just to be sure, I'm going to do one more. See what that comes in at. Yeah, 5.1. So we're going to go down 1 entire gram on those. And we're going to do sliders. So just to make sure that they're like not lying about this, we're just going to set this on here. 4.2 grams. Actually, these weigh more than they say they do. 4.2. These are supposed to be 4-gram rollers. 4.2. Why are they 4.2 gram rollers? 4.3. Wow. 4.2. 4.3. Interesting. Alright guys, just want to show you real quick how to install a slider. Okay, so you can see the hole I'm going to be putting it in. This is exactly the angle that I'm going to be picking up, tipping it on its side. So I'm going to let you look at that real close. I'm going to take it from this angle, just like this, flip it on its side, and drop it right in there. And you can see how it just settles perfect. There's a lot of people confused about how to install sliders versus rollers, but that's how it's done. So if you want to freeze frame, rewind it, do whatever you got to do, these are installed and ready to go back in. We've gone from 5.1 gram to 4.2 gram roller sliders, and these should be more effective when it comes to snappier out the hole top speed stuff. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so now that all these are back in there, we're just going to take this piece, set it right back on in there. You can see, got to follow the little plastic guides that are on here. Just make sure they're all on there good before you try to set it down. This can be really annoying to do. Sometimes it's easier, and I think I'm going to do it this way this time too, is just to put your finger in this hole and allow it to kind of hold the weight while you set it down on each one of these little pole brackets that are here, and then push that down real good, and that will hold them in place. And then all you have to do is take this once they're in there and slide this back on. Okay, everything is installed again. Let's take it out, see if we've increased our pickup speed, and see if we've made any adjustment to the top end. And normally this wouldn't make a huge adjustment on the top end, but it would definitely make a faster takeoff. So, but sometimes it will mess with the top end speed, which is kind of cool. So I think a good test will be to take it out now. We dropped 1 gram off of each roller, so we put sliders in there. They normally make a pretty big difference on how fast you can get up to speed, and sometimes they'll even change the variation of the speed a little bit. So we'll see. Let's take it for a rip, Chip, see what happens. Put my GPS speed meter on there so you guys will be able to have an idea of what my max speed is. Stock, well, not quite stock. I have the new rollers down here and the new sliders, but it does have a performance air intake, and it does have a performance carburetor as well as a performance CDI and spark plug. No performance coil yet, but it does have one adjustment on how much air fuel is coming into the bike. I just adjusted it again, so sounds like she's ready to rip. We have under 1,000 miles on this bike, as you guys can see, and I think it's time to do a speed run in its current condition with the stock rollers and that I have on there, and give you guys an idea of how fast this goes on the stock setup. So let's take this thing out here and do a speed test run on it and see how we fare. Hopefully my GoPro's in a good enough spot where you can see all this while I drive. And yeah, let's go top this off right now, see what it gets with my current setup, and then when we get back, we'll throw those 4 gram sliders on there. So, quick heads up guys, last night when I did my initial test of the stock components, we had just got back from an event called Rampage, and this thing was like sputtering and doing weird stuff after I installed the new throttle cable on there, as you can see. But there's the culprit. You can see that the top pin has popped out, and that's probably because this thing was getting beat up and jiggled around a lot. So the coil was bad. I went ahead and just replaced the coil. As you can see, I put a new coil on there, ran it down, so it's running how it should now, and carburetor and everything's working good. So as of right now, this would be the second test that we're about to do here. I started last night, got back at the project today, and yeah, so second test. Alrighty guys, I've reset my values. This is going to be the 0 to 25 test, and then the 0 to 35 test, and if it goes faster, it goes faster. The fastest this thing's ever been is like 34, and then on like a huge downhill grade I think we hit like 42. But I'm looking for faster takeoff because it's been very slow out the hole, and that's what we're trying to adjust. So I think you guys can see that. This is my max speed, just pushing it backwards with 1 mile per hour. So let me go get lined up in a good spot where we can test this, and let's see if we've increased our takeoff speed. All right, here's my 0 to 25 straightaway. Ready? We definitely picked up more top end, and we also got much faster takeoff. So clearly that worked. Sorry, I know you hear that noise. That's the fan there. Our power went out, so I'm using my power bank currently to charge my phone, and I have my battery operated fan going until the power comes back on, obviously. But yeah, is what it is. Surprise! Isn't it always fun when the power goes out? So yeah, that worked. I'm pretty sure I'm still going to put a performance clutch on it because I want the clutch to be a little bit snappier. I think we can still do better on takeoff. 10 seconds, 25 miles an hour isn't horrible, but it's still not the best. I think we can get a lot faster than that. We're going to change the belt to a newer belt because I think that one's a little bit too big for this scooter because it seemed like it had a lot of play in it, and I don't want a ton of play. So we'll see. We will see. I think there's a little belt slap happening in there, and I definitely want to change the clutch out. But as of right now, I'm much happier with the takeoff. Knocking off 5 seconds to get up to 25 or 30 miles an hour really isn't that bad. 10 seconds on a 50cc scooter with a 230-pound rider plus the weight of the vehicle and a 2-gallon gas tank, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not horrible. It's definitely way better than it was, so that's what we were aiming for. So now we're going to start messing with the clutch a little bit and seeing where we end up here. So could be fun.
Are you sure this is okay? You're in country, dude. Live a little. Now, she's pretty sensitive, so go easy on the throttle, okay? All right.